get high, but baby, if you want, he'll go down low. Doing a podcast on a random Thursday night. Girl, this blow, he's gonna make you feel alright. I know the manager, he knows what's going down. He'll make you laugh, but he damn sure is not a clown. I know the manager, and this man, he's got clout. He's gonna make you scream, you know he'll make you shout. He's gonna make you scream, he'll make you shout. I know the manager, yeah.
What up? It's another episode with I Know the Manager. Breaking news, guys. They're making a part 2 to He's Just Not That Into You. It's going to be called She's Just Not That Into You, and it's a documentary about me. So, ladies, if you're interested, if you want a text message cameo, if you just want to be a part of it, don't show any interest in me. Just keep doing what you're doing at this very moment. So, but yeah, you can check, you should follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm not asking you to, I'm telling you to. Follow me on Facebook and fucking Twitter at I Know the Manager. Just one word. One word. I Know the Manager. And then you can find me on YouTube. If this is how you're listening, then you're already there. You can go to I Know the Manager or I Know the Manager podcast. They're two different things. Just to get the whole spiel of everything, just to make it one easy access. I've made this so fucking easy for you. You get to www.addictedpodcast.com. That's addictedpodcast.com. That's like a dick Ted podcast.com. So it's not like addicted like drugs and alcohol. It's like addicted, but like similar, but like not really. It's totally spelled different. So you should check that out, because on there I got a visual vortex. Like every week we usually talk about something, and I'm starting to post pictures on there. Last week we had we talked about the retarded tiger. Well, it's up there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm making this easy for you. My YouTube videos, just go to I Know the Manager's tab on the website. I Know the Manager's videos. Click that. You can see my stand-up that I'm doing now. Just past videos that I do. You can check out our ASL Ice Bucket Challenge that we did. That was pretty funny. We did it Carrie style, the horror film. So all this other stuff. And I got Clash the Comics. I'm starting to do a lot of podcasts with Huntsville comedians. So, which I got 2 more on the way, as soon as I can shut the fuck up, but I'm not going to, so, right at the moment, but I'm starting to put comedians on there. I just got one, actually, and he's going to be on this podcast. His name is Matthew Tate. But yeah, you can, and go check out other podcasts, such as, Blow Your Pod, Say What, but you can all check out a lot of these podcasts that I listen to, and that, few of my Twitter followers and the network I'm part of. Go to couchpotatonation.com. So yeah, you should check out all that. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. But I'm doing stand-up now. It's a big deal, kind of. And I'm having fun doing it. I think I'm decent at it. I still am new to it, and I'm working out a lot of kinks and stuff. But I'm just very excited to be doing this. But first and foremost, like, even if I suck at that, at the end of the day, at the end of the motherfucking day, I'll do this podcast for you guys. I appreciate all my followers and what y'all do. So I don't know, I've had a few requests to make shirts or make this or make that. I don't have like a budget for that, I'm not gonna lie. But if there's enough people that want shirts, I will do a Kickstarter, and that's how we'll fund it. I will do it. If you don't, fuck you. But if someone wants to come up with a logo, come up with it, and then we'll see, or I'll see, and then I'll throw it out to the fans on my Facebook and my Twitter. If they like it, then we'll do it. I will totally do that. But basically, how we would set up the Kickstarter is, I'd have a tier for basically the shirt amount. I'll start looking into how much it would cost. Depending on the logo, it would all depend on that. So we get that done. Let's get the logo done first, and then we'll go further. Fans, get me an I Know the Manager logo. Or if you like the one that's on my website, like the banner, that if you want that, I'll keep that. But you have to Twitter me, you have to Facebook me, you have to let me know these things. Because I do have some close friends, and I do have a fan or two that has asked me, and I'm like, I just don't have the budget for it, and I wish I did. I just don't have the budget for it. But we could do this. Get me a logo if you want it. We'll fucking get on this. We'll get on this. We'll get the manager nights. We'll get them in here. We'll get all you manager nights in here. We'll get this thing. We gotta keep moving forward. So yeah, but I'm gonna get right into this podcast. If it sucks, well, you still gotta listen. No, it's really gonna be a good one. I got Matthew Tate, and then Brandon. So let's get right into it, and here we go.
Hi, my name is Matthew Tate, and I'm an alcoholic. Wait, what are we doing here?
Hey, yeah. Brandon Imes here. Here to either try to be funny or interesting at any given moment. Wish me luck.
And it's just me. Yeah, just me, and I'm back, and we're here together in this very moment, and yeah. So they're local comedians, Huntsville comedians, as I expressed earlier. And yeah, I don't really know. Like, how has your day been, Matthew?
Well, it was all right. I woke up a little bit after the crack of noon. Got out of bed, kind of shook off this hangover, ate a banana, drank a glass of grapefruit juice. By that I mean I just turned up this carton, and back on the wagon again. I brought over this really awesome bottle. I don't know if y'all have seen it before. Absolute Texas. It's a cucumber and serrano pepper infused vodka. Picked it up over at Liquor Express. My first thought when I saw it was, this would make perfect Bloody Marys, and it does.
How's your day been, Brandon?
It's pretty busy. It's like one of those days where you feel like you've been running your ass off, and at the end of the day, if you want to check off the things that you've done, no, nothing really.
Nothing, yeah.
Well, I guess, I just came straight here from an interview.
Yeah?
How'd that go?
Pretty good. I got a follow-up interview coming up Monday, so...
And if you don't get the job, you just walk in there with a fucking gun. I'm getting the fucking job today.
Yeah, that's, then I'll have to change my application where it asks if I've had any convictions or, it's no big deal.
Is that the Rambo approach or the Curtis Rambo approach?
That's the Curtis Rambo approach. It's good.
They told me as long as I don't have any, theft charges against me, that's really the only deal breaker. Anything else, bringing a gun to work, I guess, doesn't necessarily disqualify me.
Yeah.
It's Alabama.
Yeah, it's Alabama.
I think you're only not allowed to bring guns into places that have signs that specifically say that on the front door, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Or maybe those are just the places you want to avoid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, I usually typically just leave mine in my car. I was thinking on the way from work today, I was like, why won't Alabama legalize? Because I've just imagined we'll be one of the last states to legalize gay marriage. I don't know your approaches on that, but I'm just thinking their approach is, well, if we don't, they'll fucking leave. The gays will leave, and then we can just fucking keep our guns and we'll be fine, just like the rednecks want it. That's my...
Speaking of funny signs and venues, I did a show a few months ago in this place. It was kind of ghetto, but there was a sign on the stall of the bathroom. I thought that was just a weird sign to post, don't bring guns into this club, so forth and so on. But it said part of it was no arguing. Spelled exactly like what that sounds. I was like, are they telling us not to argue or not to augur?
No auguring. They don't want any corkscrews up anybody.
Speaking of, I see you brought wine too.
Yeah, it's the finest Shiraz $3 can buy.
Yeah.
Trader Joe's, y'all.
We'll get one of these days here in Hunts Vegas.
Are we really getting a Dave and Buster's here? Is that is that a thing? I've heard that.
God, I hope not.
I know Huntsville officials are pushing for it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the prospects of actually getting one, but yeah, there's several big businesses, stuff like that, entertainment types they're trying to bring in.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense, I guess.
Dave and Buster's, because it's creepy to go to Chuck E. Cheese as an adult by yourself. Doesn't Eason have a bit about that?
I don't remember.
I think he does, and it involves just going to Chuck E. Cheese by himself. And
Yeah, that sounds familiar now.
yeah.
I went a few months ago with my ex, and I was just taking selfies in there. It was very weird. It was very creepy, but then like all these kids are like getting tickets. Like I don't know if you have
Why were you dating a kid?
No.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
Well, if you didn't know, I'm a pedophile, and
Specifically for kids that have taste in cardboard pizza.
yeah, that's my thing.
Well, you throw enough grated 3 years ago Parmesan on it. And
yeah,
And they have ranch on the salad bar.
yeah.
I mean, I know how they do in those places because it's the same way in every restaurant. If you have like a shaker, almost no restaurants empty out the shaker and then refill it so that the stuff on the bottom becomes the stuff on. No, they just keep filling it over time. So, if you're getting to like the bottom of the barrel, that's going to be pepper that's been in there for like 7 years.
Yeah, it's like refill, clean, refill.
All the Parmesan cheese at the bottom of the shaker has the density of a dying sun.
Oh,
It's good. And on here, typically, sometimes, maybe, not all the time, but when we, my thing is slate it, and, because, comedians, they killed it, I killed it, and then, so, this one day on this podcast, I got the brilliant idea to say, I slayed it after a joke, and then from there on, that was, I guess that was the part of the catchphrase, so anytime a joke ever happens or something fun, we just slate it. Everybody partakes in that, I guess. I'm going to have to make a note before I start podcasts like this. This is what we do here.
Smell what you're cooking.
Yeah.
no, that's the candles.
Yeah. I had candles in here. I got Mountain Dew. If you want some Reese's Pieces, I got some of them.
Oh, I didn't see it. And for those of you who can't see, the case of Mountain Dew is covered in Realtree camouflage.
Yeah.
I guess for hunting season.
Yeah. When I bought it, I was like, I don't think I want to buy that for that fucking reason. And I almost didn't, but I was like...
Well, that's just because they're sick of Dick Cheney shooting the cases of Mountain Dew, I think.
So finally I just broke down. I was like, because they didn't have the old school, so I just fucking bought it, and I caved in. I just got this weird call, and I've texted them before. It's got cut off. Tell Mike I appreciate the call, and I will send him a proof when I got it. Thanks, Keith. I'm not Keith. Thanks, Keith. I don't.
Pretend you're Keith.
Yeah. No worry. And I was like, this conversation happened in April. Hello?
No, pretend you're Keith's girlfriend, but he died in a car crash a week ago.
This is Keith's girlfriend.
Thanks for texting him and reminding me. I was almost ready to move on with my life.
Yeah, it might be business. I don't know. That'd be funny. Oh, just kidding. That'd be funny.
Is Keith just your code name?
Yeah, that's my code name to all the ladies out there. I'm like, my name's Keith. When I meet them in public, I'm like, hey, I'm Keith. And then that's how that goes. So, yeah, I can't tell them my real name because then if they figure out who I really am, I got a less of a chance, than what I do as Keith.
Just go up to girls and tell them you're John. That'll up your odds.
Yeah. I'm John. My dad's name was John Rambo, actually. Yeah.
I was getting at the code name for somebody soliciting prostitution.
Oh, okay.
Like Johnny Rambo, yeah. So just get a red bandana and some steroids and HGH.
Yeah. Don't work out, do a few pumps a day. And they
HGH or iron?
Oh, no, I just, sets, I guess.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So are you heading to the Amendment 21 open mic tonight?
Probably not. I don't think I'll be able to make it tonight.
Well, we're going to have to kick you out. No.
See you next time. No, it's I'm excited that there's comedy going on there. It's having comedy downtown is great. It's a groovy venue. It's a good vibe for it. So yeah, I'm eager to see how it goes.
Good.
Certainly a lot better than where I was doing comedy before.
A dance club?
God, that was rough.
A dance club?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the name of the venue.
They sold sushi though.
Oh.
Yeah, they did. They sold really terrible sushi. I mean, it was just not palatable at all. Maybe I'm just a sushi snob because I've worked in a Japanese restaurant that served really good stuff. But yeah, we'd regularly go in, and the bartender would inform us, oh, by the way, the owner says you have to be done by a certain time. It was like an hour after the show's supposed to start, so we'd have to start 30 minutes early before the host was even set up, so I'd have to host the first segment just so they could fit in, some DJs or a band or whatever. It was just a bad way of doing business, and that's why I'm kind of glad that we moved the show over to Tim's Cajun Kitchen, because anytime something like that pops up, like Tim lets us know way in advance, like weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
It's a lot better working over there.
Yeah, that'd be a weird environment to do it in anyways.
Yeah.
So, that's
we had
good.
Mike Leibowitz down one time, and
Oh yeah, he's a big name in Chicago.
but
Came through town.
I remember part of his set, and we just had like a large crowd, and sometimes people would pay to get in to see the comedy, and then sometimes they just wouldn't watch the comedy, and there was actually like this fight breaking out on the middle floor, and Mike Leibowitz started his set by saying, well, I finally figured out the answers to the eternal question: what happens when people pay to get in to see comedy and then don't watch the comedy? They start fighting.
That's funny. Yeah, that would have been a weird atmosphere. That's good it moved. So, yeah, I'm gonna go to this bootleg thing. I like the name of it, like just Amendment 21 and the bootleg. That was kind of creative.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty nifty.
I suggested the name No Amendments Comedy to him, but I like the name Bootleg even better.
Yeah.
And I mean the event page design, which his brother Dan LeBeau-Scott did, I think is just very fitting for it.
Is he really stepping out of comedy scene for a while? Was that a real thing?
He's got a kid, adorable daughter, by the way. Brought her to the. Yeah, I loved how like during my set Friday, I was like, I see we have some babies in the audience. I was kind of afraid I was going to get heckled by a baby, but aren't they so well behaved? And then like halfway through my set, I made a 9/11 joke, and his daughter just like screamed at me.
Yeah.
She was jeering. She was only 2, but she never forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slayed it.
Yeah, slayed it. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. That was a pretty good show. That was pretty good, and that's good that there's like a brother set. Like they get to do that together. I thought that was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah. It was a. I actually booked that show about 2 months ago. I like to keep all my stuff booked about 2 months in advance, just because it gives people time if there has to be a cancellation. Gives me time to fill spots, and really, I don't know. It's one of the very few things in life that I try to be really organized with. But
This fucking house is a mess. Condom wrappers laying everywhere. He's like, no.
Speaking of upcoming, a few upcoming shows I have, I've got Carlos Valencia coming in to do a special edition of TGIM on November 17th.
Okay.
One of the future dates that I booked for All Right By You actually is going to have Michael Fritz coming up all the way from Mobile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Montgomery, right?
Montgomery?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
It starts with a Mo. It's
Yeah.
fine. That's good. Anything? Is that still going to be on the Monday though?
The Carlos Valencia one is going to be on a Monday.
Okay.
At Maggie Meyer's Irish Pub, 8 o'clock. We've got Nate Bailey, Jonathan Craig, Tom Hands, and
Blair
Blair Scott opening.
Okay.
And then Carlos is going to get up there, do a set. We're going to take like a brief intermission, and then we're going to do the open mic portion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kind of like the way we ran Scott Easton ran the Matt Ward show down at Enter at the Comedy Dragon.
Okay. I wasn't there for that, but I can just imagine it.
Oh, it was a fantastic time, man.
Where's Valencia coming from, did you say?
New York City.
Okay.
He's originally out of North Carolina, I believe, or was it South Carolina?
It was South Carolina, I think.
South Carolina.
Before that, I think he did a stretch in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, he tours a lot with Doug Stanhope.
Yeah, I was wondering
opens
why
for him a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw Carlos open. The first time I saw him was opening for stand-up when I saw stand-up at Zydeco in Birmingham. Also, Junior Stopka from Chicago.
Like, all three of these guys are on my bucket list to see, you know. So I'm really excited that we've had the opportunity to book Carlos down here.
Mm-hmm. Did that cost a pretty penny? How do y'all set this up? Do y'all just luck? Or
it really depends on the venue. Some places want to do a cover charge. Some venues will pay out of their own pocket.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of doing a cover charge.
Yeah, I get it.
It makes sense for places like the Flying Monkey where it's BYOB.
Yeah.
It doesn't make as much sense, I feel like, for places where you're having to pay to be served alcohol and food. But you know, we're still trying to build up All Right Bayou, and hopefully when it gets to a certain point, we'll be able to waive the cover charge and just see if we can do a venue pay thing. But,
and Tim's will realize it's profitable regardless, and realize it's a good investment.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, it's free, but how do they make them? But then you see, like, everybody's behind fucking drinks, and then the comedian, he still can make extra money, you know, through merch.
Oh, yeah, it's an investment for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even, like, after he leaves, like, that's a known place. Like, okay, this is where they had so-and-so. You can, and then they just come back to this one environment, so.
That's precisely how, you know, Patrick ran his shows. I don't know if you ever got the opportunity to come to one of the Clockwork comedies, but the venue would pay, but they always generated so much business that it always paid off.
Yeah.
I mean, even for open mics, I mean, you're going to generate business just by virtue of, you know, having comics come in and buy beer. It's it's just a good idea, and over the course of the past few years, we've been growing the scene. More and more places have realized, like, hey, comedy's it's for real.
Yeah. I like the scene around here. Y'all got a lot going the fuck on. But me and Luke were talking. He was like, I didn't know this was like. There's a lot of people out there that I don't think knows about all the comedy that happens here. Because we were talking about, I didn't know until, like, I just seen something on Facebook, like, open mic. I was like, okay, fuck it. I like comedy. And then I just went and just started going. And then he was the same way. He didn't really know too much about it, he said. So.
I ever tell you how I got started?
Go ahead.
I was a regular down at a bar called The Creek. And that was back in 2012, and I was just in there on a random Wednesday night, and these guys, Brandon had already started at that point, but Tom Hand was hosting a comedy open mic there, and I mean, part of me always wanted to do stand-up on some level. I've always been a huge fan of stand-up. I think when I discovered Doug Stanhope's comedy back when I was living in Illinois, that was what kind of gave me the nudge and made me think I really want to do this. But I had no idea how the industry worked. I didn't even know stand-up open mics were a thing. I think a lot of people don't realize they're a thing until they run into one. But yeah, I just they did the open mic there for 4 consecutive weeks. At that time, I think there were about 17 comedians, maybe tops.
Yeah, at most.
And anyway, I came out the first 2 weeks, and the second week I pulled Tom aside and I was like, hey man, do you mind if I do a set next week? And he's like, yeah, of course, it's open mic, you know, feel free. And the next week I got up and did a Mormon character, I wore, the full regalia, the white button-down Oxford with the black tie, black pinstripe slacks, backpack, and I just preached the Book of Mormon to the whole bar. And this was during election season. And I told everybody that why they should vote for Romney at the end. I think everybody in the bar looked like they wanted to. Like they were just looking at me like they wanted to kill me.
Yeah, that was the general response to anybody doing comedy from the regular patrons. Like my favorite heckler reaction from a lady, from anybody. Daniel Coley had just finished his set, and he did some borderline offensive jokes. And this one lady gets up from the bar, walks toward the door, and right as she's about to push the door open to walk out, she turns around and says, 30-06, bam, and then walks out. I'm like, oh shit, she's about to go to her. She never came back, fortunately, but I was nervous because I was coming on right after Daniel. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get the ultimate heckle.
Oh, that would have sucked.
Hashtag dying on stage.
Yeah. That's kind of how I got it. I remember, like...
She'd be like, slate it.
Yeah.
Slate everybody that said something I didn't find funny.
Yeah. You're cool. Fuck you and that offensive joke.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so... as I mentioned when I started, there were maybe 17 of us. Now there's around 70,
yes.
And that's just been the space of like a little over 2 years. And we relocated that open mic, of course, from the Creek to Copper Top, which has sort of become, as Patrick Cunningham has phrased it, the CBGBs of comedy.
Yeah.
And they recently had a turnout of 31 comedians signing up for an open mic.
That's crazy.
It was pretty fantastic.
Yes.
And go figure, that was one of the nights that I didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't there either, so it's 31 aside from me and you, huh?
Yeah, I got it was Wednesday night where I work, we do like an Italian buffet, and sometimes we get really busy and it takes a while to close down. So like we close at 10, but I had so much to do in closing, I didn't get out of there till 10:40. I was like, well, comedy open mic's probably over now. So I went to another bar instead to drink, and then when I got home, I checked my Facebook and saw that the open mic had gone till like almost midnight.
Wow.
And there were 31 comics on it. I could have made it. Instead, I slayed it, as in my chances of being a part of the 32 comics that could have been.
Yeah, I didn't. It's just hard for me to make it to anyone. That's why I'm kind of glad that this one's opening up tonight. And typically, like, the reason I didn't do it to do any comedy before, I was just like getting comfortable with the crowd. Like that's why I would just go there, sit by myself in that little fucking corner, and just be like, I'm getting comfortable with the crowd, even though I'm not talking to them. Like that's what I'm doing. Like this is I got to get used to this atmosphere.
Feeling out the personalities.
Yeah.
I think it's always a good idea for anybody considering trying comedy to pretty much do what you did and what I did, which is go out, watch a couple open mics, get a feel for the room. See how comedians respond to audience members, if you're still feeling it, like get up and do it. I don't think I've ever met anybody who's done it at least once that regretted it. Everybody has always told me they're happy they did it, even if they only did it once or twice.
Right. But yeah, I went through the exact same thing. Just thinking about it is intimidating. It's before you've ever done it, you get in your own head like, wow, it's going to take a lot. Like, what if I get up there and bomb? And so, like I did, like you did, like Matt did, you just show up and watch the other guys, feel out the scene, feel out the room, feel out the people going up. Jonathan Craig, who I believe was on in a previous podcast, he had just started an open mic at Rugby's. And I decided to go watch, laugh, hang out, chit-chat afterward, and then the following week there was another open mic at Night Moves in Hazel Green, and that's where I tried it for the first time.
I like it, man. Like I think Tech, probably you, but like I've always wanted to do it. Like I remember watching my first stand-up comedy I ever watched. I was like, I guess anywhere from 11 to 13. It was like the Kings of Comedy, like with Bernie Mac and all of them. I remember watching that, and that was on VHS. Holy fuck me. That's
Slated.
Yeah.
Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
So yeah, I used to watch that over and over, and then as I grew up, I just watched more, and I'd be like, never thought it was a thing. Like you could go to an open, like how do you get in there? Do you go to an agent? And hey, this is my joke. Would you? I don't know. It was like that, you know. It's just like no, you can. I mean, you can still do this. Like
I think there is like a lot of there is a lot of that. A lot of people just don't know how you get into it. I feel like a lot of people would want to do it.
Yeah.
And just don't know the channels.
Yeah.
You know where to start.
Yeah. But like a good place, you know, for anybody who might be listening to this is to just go to hsvcomedy.com. Or if you're on Facebook, have you heard of this Facebook thing, by the way?
What is it?
It's a social networking site, so it's kind of like Friendster or MySpace.
No, keep going. Explain.
Multiply.
We have a Facebook page too, which is mostly admins by local comedian Daniel Coley. It's Huntsville Comedy. Just type that in, search for it, will be your first result. But that website and that page like has a full list of everything that's going on. The website's still a little bit under
it is, but you can sign up for a newsletter and stuff, and they'll send you.
Yeah, it's accessible at the moment, but there's still some construction going on.
But at the very least, right now, I know for a fact it lists all the open mics, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're not from here, there's open mics, I'm sure, near you within at least an hour radius, unless you live on a fucking island with no one there.
Yeah, I mean, just in the fairly immediate vicinity, I know there's open mics in Montgomery, Mobile, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa,
Auburn.
Auburn.
The Shoals.
Florence. Well, not Florence, but
Shoals
Sheffield,
area. Yeah,
Sheffield. Yeah, and
the Quad Cities.
Nashville, Chattanooga.
Yeah,
and that's just places that are a reasonable drive from Huntsville, even. But they're all over.
Yeah, they're pretty accessible. This comedy scene's pretty good, though. I like it. It's pretty.
It's been fun. It's being involved with it and watching it grow.
Because y'all have seen a lot, just like it.
Yeah.
And I just kind of get here, and I'm like, I'm just here now, and I'm like, oh. But I'm glad, because, like, it's, to me, this is just how it looks from, like, even from that, like, you host a show, and then, like, I don't know too much about it, but, like, then you're recording it, like, you're doing a lot of recording and stuff, I guess?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
sometimes
I co-run the Homegrown Comedy Show.
Okay, and you do that, and then like, and it seems like every comedian's got like that's been around has got like the what is it, Coley? He's got the Rocket Wrangler, right?
Yeah.
And so there's things like certain comedians like this is anybody can be a part of it pretty much, but this is what we do. And then like I'm like, well, I got my fucking podcast, and I put my middle fingers up. So.
Yeah, it's I mean, as you think of comedy, like it's not just stand-up. There's so many different avenues you can take. It's fun for a different reason for everybody.
Yeah. I like doing this. Like even if stand-up doesn't go anywhere, then I would just always have this because all I need is a mic and a computer. I like doing this because then I get to talk to people like y'all and just random people, and then but like it's events all through our lives, and it's just like a big fucking story,
Oh
crazy.
yeah,
it's crazy.
You can listen to week, like a soap opera, watch things unfold.
Yeah. Well, so far it's just been like I'm dating this girl. Like, it was funny though because like I was telling him Matt before the podcast, I gotta stop talking about women on here because like for 2 or 3 weeks in a row I was like I'm talking to this chick, then that didn't go well. I'm like I'm talking to this chick, and then.
Well, you're saying this chick, you're not name dropping, so for all the listeners know, it could be the same chick.
Yeah. Well, I keep saying another chick. Yeah, so it's like, oh, God, Curtis, get it together. I'm just going to I'm fucking this bitch.
Then there's polyamory is an option if it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, and they can't, I can just start doing women voices, like hop to Mike. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm going to stop that.
You're going to go all like Eddie Murphy, Nutty Professor, do characters like this week. Curtis Rambo is featuring Curtis Rambo. And Curtis Rambo doing an effeminate voice and Curtis Rambo as a child.
And then Matthew Tate with the Bane voice.
Yeah, stories are more fun with a villain.
Yeah.
Hey, just because I look like a villain.
No, you look suave. You got the whole fucking. You always dress up nice. You're fucking classy.
Yeah.
The people don't know that though. They think maybe he's dressed like a hobo.
Well, I've got to present the illusion of having some modicum of class.
Yeah.
At least,
Me too.
I picked on Matt one time. He had worked at a German restaurant before. Since I've known him, he's worked at, like he mentioned, a Japanese, sushi restaurant. And I'm like, man, is there not an Axis power that you haven't worked for? He's the ultimate villain.
That's funny. Slide it.
Mr. Iams, don't make me get my laser.
Don't hurt me.
You'll see any movies lately?
Like nothing current.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's in theaters. Like I don't have cable.
Oh yeah.
I haven't for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I kept cable for a minute just to watch football and hockey, and then I discovered you could just totally stream that shit online off of European servers for like free.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I watched the World Cup, but it was all Spanish-speaking commentators, which was great. Actually, they're very enthusiastic. Like, you don't have to know what they're saying to know what's going on.
Yeah. Just hear their voice. Keep up with the scoreboard.
Like, I don't know what he's saying, but I like the way he talks.
Yeah.
I would have been able to figure out the gist of what they're saying. At least I took Spanish for a few years in high school, but I had this teacher who was she was weird. She at one point had like some sort of head injury and had a steel plate in her head, and she was just a little bit off in the head.
Yeah.
And she would get so mad. She would get so mad if you mispronounced stuff. So I'd throw in the wrong words just to watch her get mad and fly off the hook and start yelling at me in front of the whole class every once in a while. I think every comedian was just a troll at heart at one point, or a prankster.
Yeah.
So I remember one time I said instead of mi sopa es caliente, which is my soup is hot, I said mi sopa es calcetines, which is my soup is socks. She was like, "What do you mean your soup is socks? That doesn't make any sense."
If you spell out the word socks, it sounds like you're speaking Spanish. Nobody gonna indulge? Eso sí que es.
What?
See, it sounds like I'm speaking Spanish, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know any better, but I'm just spelling out the word socks.
Yeah.
I'm surprised neither of you heard that. Like, okay, yeah, I came up with it.
Yeah.
That's my original joke.
That's his fucking joke.
Because neither of you have heard it before.
Yeah. Copyrighted that bitch today.
Hey, did I ever tell you this bit that I wrote? It's called the 7 words you can't say on television.
I've never heard of it.
You can do it.
I'll have to make sure I hear it.
It's funny because he's Carlin bit. Oh, speaking of the Rocket Wrangler, for those who are listening who haven't checked it out, it's a website that a number of us Huntsville comedians write for. If you like The Onion, you'll really like it. But it's rocket-wrangler.com. We typically put out an article every single day. And we have like 17 writers at current.
I've written a couple, yeah.
But yeah, I have an advice column on there. Because, I seem like the person you'd want to take advice from. It's called Ask Tate. But some of the other articles have gone pretty legitimately viral. Jonathan Craig wrote one.
Yeah, that one.
That it was about a sportsplex, a $7.5 million sportsplex they were supposedly putting downtown where Big Spring Park is. And everybody got like their panties all in a knot over it. One of the other comedians, Tim Kelly, works in a newsroom, and he told me, the next day he went into work, and the phones were just ringing off the hook the entire fucking day.
They're gonna fill in the duck pond at Big Spring Park.
But it got to be so widespread that the city council actually held a special meeting to debunk it, basically. But even they didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, they thought it might have been a thing.
Yeah.
And they're
like, bring back the gays, gay marriage.
It garnered an article in the Times about the article, too, as I recall.
Yeah.
And to use Jonathan's words that he used on stage, he effectively rickrolled, all of Huntsville.
Yeah.
I had one on there, too. It was a Madison teen dies taking ice bucket challenge. It went not as viral, but it got a good amount of views. But for those of you satire fans out there, check it out. It's rocket-wrangler.com. They also have a Facebook page, the Rocket Wrangler. It's some pretty funny stuff.
Yeah. Fucking Tom from MySpace is dead. Is it Facebook?
MySpace Tom found dead in a hotel room. That was one
Everybody's
of mine, too.
first friend.
Yeah.
And then another local comic, The Siege, decided off of that to do a Mark Zuckerberg found dead.
Yeah.
Or is it Mike Zuckerberg murdered cops indifferent?
I haven't caught that article.
I seen it, but I can't remember. I think he just died. I think he basically just did the same thing, I think. Almost. That sounds fucked.
Was it you who sent me that screen capture of the responses to your sharing of the MySpace Tom article?
Oh, yeah. God damn. Man.
That was kind of funny. I popped in around comment 18 and it's like, hey guys, I'm the guy who wrote this.
Yeah.
And one of your friends responded with, so it's true then? Definitely.
Yeah.
It's on the internet, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me about that is the fact that you have to be on the internet to see it.
Yeah.
But being on the internet, you can actually do a little bit of fact checking.
Yeah.
But so many people, I think, are just too intellectually lazy to put in the time.
Like, you mean I gotta click on the address bar? I gotta type www.g? Because, G's all I gotta type.
Yeah.
That's, because it'll auto-populate, but who's got time for that? That's 5 keystrokes.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
All I gotta do is hit G and enter. Fuck. Yeah. I typically don't like to even do that, but I'm like, I know that's fake. Like, even the nerd one got me. This nerd one where it was like from April, but I sent it like last month or the month before, I think, and it was just like Marvel and DC's universe were gonna start. They sat down and started talking to like Mix, and I was like, that was like a nerd boy's dream. I was like, yes, I'm about to jerk off, and then like I posted it because I thought it was real, and somebody was like, it was on April 1st, and I'm like, God damn it.
Oh yeah, IGN is infamous for doing fake movie trailers, and it'll say coming out April 1st, and that's the giveaway. Like, I almost fell for a Zelda, live action movie. I'm like, oh sweet, they did a pretty convincing job with the trailer, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna pre-order my ticket, and I'm gonna camp out and watch this on a midnight release, and then it said coming out April 1st. I'm like, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. So I look it up and like, sure enough, it's...
There was like a live action, I don't remember if it was a web series or if it was a series on like G4, but it was like 5-minute episodes or whatever, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I really want to see a movie happen though, but like Link never says a word during the entire movie.
Oh yeah.
Just like the game. Damn, that sucks.
But April 1st pranks, by the way. I did one a couple of years ago where I shared this, I wrote this fake article that Morgan Freeman had passed away.
I think I got that.
Then was it last year? Do you remember when I faked my own death?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. So during the first run of TGIM, which was at Olivia's, which is the same spot that Maggie Myers is now, but it was different ownership. But that was where I ran TGIM during its first run, from like March till the bar closed in like September of last year. And April 1st, I popped on Facebook and typed up this status update that was something along the lines of This is Matthew Tate's friend Leo. Matthew passed away early this morning of unknown causes, and just made it completely believable. And I started getting phone calls all day, but I just ignored all the phone calls. People started calling up Olivia's, and they were like, "Did you hear that Matthew Tate died?" It was on a Monday too.
Oh.
And one of them, she called me later. I actually picked up for her because she had to know that I wasn't dead and that the open mic was still on for the night. But somebody who called her actually said, "So Matthew Tate's dead. Is there still a show tonight?" That was their most pressing concern.
God damn it! I still want to do my comedy. What am I going to do?
Tate's dead? We still doing TGIM? Is somebody going to fill in?
Can I host? I'll host it. I'll host it. I'm notorious for fucking pranks on Facebook. I did one the other day that it's probably too soon, but I did the too soon joke, and I did me in a towel, it was
the ISIS.
Yeah, I was I joined ISIS too soon, and at first it was going well. I was getting likes. Then the next day, apparently people thought I wanted their opinion, because they were like, "Well, in my opinion, yes." And I totally did not want their opinion, and then they messaged me separately, they totally, and I was like, God damn. They were like, "Was that comment towards me?" And I'm like, "Yes. If you want to unfriend me because you cannot handle jokes or anything," and maybe it was too soon. Sorry, not really that sorry, but.
I thought you were about to say that you posted that and then the next day, NSA called you.
No, I'm waiting for it.
Knocking at your door.
Yeah. No, my roommate was like, "If they're fucking coming to our house, then I'm beating your ass or something." I was like, "Okay."
There's no such thing as too soon.
Yeah.
As long as you can make it funny, there is nothing, no subject material I think that should be barred. Was it Carlin who said it? And I remember Tom brought this up at one of the first open mics at the Creek. He said, if you think it's too soon for something and that some subject matter is too touchy, Garland had a bit where he said, for those of you who think that rape can't be funny, I want you all to close your eyes for a minute and picture Elmer Fudd raping Porky Pig. And, if you actually do that, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, because even if he didn't say that, rape happens all the time, and there's rape jokes every day.
Yeah, the key is just, it's, if you can make it victimless and make it funny, just saying rape for shock is, there's nothing funny about it, but like I said, as much as you can, make it victimless and make it funny, clever, some kind of spin.
Basically, make sure you're doing it right or don't do it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I was worried because the other day I've had this rape joke since the first time I went up and did my first stand-up. I had that joke, and I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then even right before you called me up, I was like, I should not do that joke. But I was like, I have to. I need to test the waters with this joke. And I finally did it. I got laughs. I was very surprised. I was like, okay, rape is funny. Rape's funny.
Was that this past week?
Mm-hmm.
Man, we just had an incredible audience this past Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, they were responsive through and through.
Yeah.
There were a couple loud people at one point at the bar.
But then you just tell them.
They left. And, I mean, I really liked that room. I liked it when it was Olivia's, and I absolutely love how they've done the remodel now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty fancy.
I'm so glad they kept the brick wall in the background.
Yeah.
I like the couches. I never sit on them, though. The other day was the first time I sat on the couches. I was like, can I sit?
Those are new. Olivia's didn't have those.
In fact, all those tables along the window side were booths.
Okay.
All the hardwood flooring was carpet that I'm pretty sure that she never cleaned.
It had been recycled from an old elementary school library. There was an ATM that didn't work right there by the stairs leading up to the bar.
Yeah, there was. There was, actually.
It hadn't worked in years.
Never got it. And somebody would have came and fixed it for free, right? They should have,
No, I think there was a charge for fixing it, but there's a charge for fixing it, a charge for hauling it off. Screw it, it's a carpet weight.
Yeah.
I think she explained to me once that it was actually a city ordinance that she couldn't have that ATM running because it didn't have Braille on the keys.
What?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I want to see a blind person use. I'm not being blind prejudiced or anything. I just want to see that. I've never seen
Good, because I'm legally blind.
Guys, you can't see us. He can't see me.
He's legally blind while he's on the wagon.
Yeah.
I mean, my contact prescription's 10.5.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I
fuck.
would-
Yeah.
That is, yeah. What's legally blind? Like somewhere around 8
7.
something? 7, yeah.
7 or 7.5, somewhere in there.
So
Yeah.
let's
But,
take the contacts
Yeah,
out.
I'm not allowed to operate a vehicle, nor should I even be allowed to step out my front door without my contacts.
Holy fuck.
When I get up in the morning, basically I just have to remember like where everything is that
Yeah.
I set down the previous night. It's okay, 5 paces this way, 8 paces that way.
Wow.
Fuck. So fucking when you move into a new place, it's a bitch and a half, ain't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I usually have to keep my contact lens case like right next
Right,
to where
yeah.
I sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've lived in the same apartment for years, so
You got
it
now,
becomes a
yeah.
little bit easier.
Yeah. Just sucks if you move. Okay. Well, guess what time it is, guy? Did I tell? I always fuck this up. Did you remember? I told you about the murder, Mary, fuck.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I need to rename that to mine. Something to do with me. Murder, slated. Fuck. I don't know. I'll come up with something.
Something to do with you? Which of the 3 would you prefer?
What? No. Oh fuck. No.
Fuck, okay.
Yeah.
I'll oblige.
No, something like instead of like murder, Mary, fuck, come up with my own like content. I guess like slated. Fucking something. I'll figure it out eventually. I'll have to sit down with that one. So I guess this is how it'll work. It doesn't matter in which order. It's just, Tate can do me, and then I do you in a non-sexual
Are we
way.
gonna murder,
Yeah.
marry, fuck each other?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoever gets the short straw gets
Yeah.
married.
Yeah.
Slate it.
Slate it. So I guess I'll go first, and I'll get you, Brandon.
All right.
And you ready to take it? I still haven't even put my vest on a little bit.
Let me get some lube and I'll be ready.
Yeah.
Let me have it. I'll go raw, dry.
Okay. I'm looking up women right now. I'm sorry. I totally didn't come prepared because it just. All right. What about Scarlett Johansson? I think she's like a pick. Emma Stone and Rihanna.
Rihanna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Murder Rihanna.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I'll finish the job that Chris Brown didn't. Marry Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems to have the best sense of humor.
Yeah.
And yeah, Scarlett Johansson, even though I'd be, like Ryan Reynolds sloppy seconds. I mean, I don't have the abs, but,
Yeah.
I think I got the same comedic timing and charm, so we'd hit it off for a night or so.
Good. And then that's funny. I guess then you give it to Tate.
Okay, in the spirit of the Halloween season coming up, Murder, Marry, Fuck, Medusa, Banshee, and Bloody Mary.
Oh.
Oh shit!
He would marry Bloody Mary.
Yeah, she's a.
It's funny because I'm drinking a Bloody Mary. Let's see. Well, I mean, I'd have to kill Medusa, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd need a reflective shield to do that, though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Curtis probably has one on.
I got one somewhere.
Yeah. And marry Banshee, because I mean, they all become banshees when you marry them anyway, right?
Yeah, at least with Banshee, you know what you're getting.
Yeah,
Screaming bitch.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
I'm not a
false
misogynist, I
advertisement.
promise.
Somebody called me a misogynist once. I was like, "You stupid bitch! I don't give massages." I'm going to hell for that one. Good
Yeah.
thing it's atheist hell, which doesn't exist. And yeah, I guess so. I'm fucking Bloody Mary.
Because she won't get pregnant because she's not. Yeah. Okay, I spun that into a period joke.
It was a nice period piece.
Yeah.
Hey, slate it.
Slide it.
All right, Curtis. Are you ready to receive it?
Yeah, I'll be on bottom.
Murder, marry, fuck. I didn't really prepare for this.
It's okay.
All right,
I didn't
we're
either.
gonna go. Kevin James,
Oh, okay.
Gilbert Gottfried, and Roseanne Barr.
Fuck, I gotta Google these motherfuckers. Oh, Kevin James,
Yeah, King of Queens.
Roseanne Barr, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Roseanne.
Oh, Roseanne. Fuck,
And the rock is
Why do
Wrangler.
I keep fucking getting her. That's 3 weeks in a row.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's a fucking.
Okay, I'm so sorry,
No,
dude.
let's keep it
No,
up.
I'll change it. I'll be merciful.
We all subconsciously want to fuck Roseanne Barr.
I usually I've killed her all the time.
Just because this is somebody I subconsciously want to fuck and maybe marry, we'll change Roseanne to Courtney Love.
Courtney. Oh yeah, I know
Who
that
sings
is.
just about as well.
Yeah. And who? Okay, so I got Kevin James, Courtney Love, and who else?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert.
You know, the little guy who looks and sounds like this.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that guy.
The voice of Yago.
That motherfucker. Let's see. She doesn't look half bad right there, but she was really young.
Yeah, she's 50 now, but I mean, she's.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'd hit that still.
I would marry her, and I would marry her. Take half her fucking money, and
Careful, she might kill you if you.
Yeah,
marry her.
yeah, you're right.
Stage your suicide.
Yeah, she was.
Suicide.
Yeah,
Air quotes if you're listening.
yeah. Fuck. I would rather. So I'm gonna marry her and take half her shit. I would have to kill Gilbert Gottfried, even though at times that I like his voice, and other times I'm like, no. I think after at least a month, I'd be like, this motherfucker's got to go. So,
Well, it's not like you're calling him back. You're just fucking.
oh yeah, I'm just fucking. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Don't kill Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, I'd probably just fuck him. Yeah, and then
I mean, Kevin James definitely deserves to die. Though.
yeah, I would probably. Yeah, he's done a few fucked up roles.
I don't know, like the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and he looks like a guy that could cook. Huh?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So I would definitely have to kill Kevin James. Fuck. Let me. God damn it. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with it. Kill him. Marry Courtney Love, because I figure she has more money than Kevin James, unless she hasn't spent it all on alcohol and drugs. I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope she still has half of something. And then Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to. Yeah.
Oh God, Curtis, that feels so good inside me right now.
Do you like that?
Oh God, I love it when you go in dry and just use my blood and shit as a lube.
Thank you, Gilbert. I appreciate your feedback.
Yeah.
I know what you like now.
Yeah, so that's
I didn't
how.
already know what you liked from Aristocrats.
Yeah.
You guys hold down the fort.
Yeah, we'll jerk each other. I mean, we'll keep it up.
I'll hold in the fart.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I'm trying to find something on Google to fucking talk about. So have you just how many shows have you done? Like shit, like real, like, or an estimation? Is it really like hard to get a show, or is it?
What do you mean? Like, well, I mean, I co-run a show, and like, naturally, sometimes I host. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, I feel like featuring.
Yeah.
Sometimes I sit back and I get in the booth and record, or run sound at the time.
Yeah.
I've also done a few road gigs. I've actually got one coming up next weekend, and a couple. I'll be in Atlanta and Columbia, South Carolina. Next
Okay.
weekend.
Okay.
Looking forward to that. Well, it's hard to estimate how many shows I've done. It's you start out doing open mics and you keep having fun doing it. You keep rewriting jokes, keep getting on stage, and things seem to fall into place from there. And before you know it, I guess I got in at a good time in the Huntsville comedy scene. Like there weren't a whole lot of people already. We had to create our own opportunities. So we've learned some hard lessons, but we've also steepened the learning curve a bit too.
Yeah. I usually fall back and message like a lot of comedians around here, like Jonathan. typically, and it's nothing against it, I just typically use the people that's been around
Sure.
and that's been through it all, I guess, or, been there, done that.
Jonathan's been great for the scene. He's created a lot of opportunities for a lot of us.
Yeah. It's sad when he left. But he comes back a good bit.
Oh, he's back just about every weekend.
Yeah.
He'll be back. He set up the Straight to Ale show that's taking place tomorrow.
Wait, he went away?
Yeah.
He's been working in Nashville.
Yeah.
Shows how much
Yeah, for like a month at least.
Yeah, he hasn't done improv in a month. Yeah, no, he messaged me, and I get to do a guest spot there, like a 5-minute bit, tomorrow at Straight to Ale. So
Cool.
I'm kind of excited about that.
I will probably be there, and I'll probably step on stage.
Really good. Man, I'm a little, and it's 5 minutes, so I have to really keep it really tight.
Yeah, bring your 5 best minutes.
Yeah.
It's a good room though.
It is.
I don't know if you ever heard about the Comedy Interruption, the show that Guy Frizzell hosted up there, who was also on one of the former podcasts.
Yeah, he was.
But yeah, have you ever seen the Benson Interruption? Okay, it's a show basically where there's a stand-up comic on the stage. The host will just sit in like a really comfy like living room chair, also on the stage, and just pop off queries, questions to the comic during his set. So there's like a back and forth exchange.
Oh.
And that was one that we did, and Guy Frizzell was our interrupter, and he just did a fantastic job of hosting that. I think everybody in the audience had a good time.
Yeah.
You guys are natural shit giver, shit talkers, so I'm sure you had fun doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems fun. That seems interesting. I think I do better. I don't know if it's just I do better. Because if I'm in a conversation with like people, I can bounce well. And I guess it's just kind of like stand up. You're just taking them out. You're like, bitch, you're not talking to me. I'm talking to y'all.
Yeah, it's basically a one-sided conversation with the audience.
Yeah. And occasionally, I'll just, I'll throw out a question and see if that's a good, like, how this joke is about to go. Like, if you ask a room, is there any Christians here? That's...
It's not a whole lot of Christians in the comedy circle here.
No.
But yeah, like as far as I don't know, especially at open mics, it's fair game. Like do what you want to do what you think is funny.
Yeah.
That's one place you should be comfortable bombing.
Yeah.
There's very little that's unacceptable to do on an open mic stage.
Yeah.
Right.
I've probably only seen anybody step out of the bounds of proper etiquette, like probably maybe 3 times in the entirety of the time I've done this.
No, that's good. That's good then. Well, then good. Then I should not be worried about any jokes that are coming. Because I seem to be starting to think of and they're not dark. They're just jokes, really. But
yeah, I mean, I would never tell anybody not to try a joke based on the topic. I mean, it's like I said earlier, make it funny.
Yeah.
Put a funny spin on it. Try not to single out a victim.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way to get a more widespread response.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would never tell anybody not to avoid any topic.
Yeah. And I didn't know how that rule went when I went to Maggie. I was like, is there things I can say? Because sometimes he would whisper stuff when they were like walking off stage to him, and I'd be like, they fucked up. They shouldn't have had that joke. So I'm over there in my mind like, I can't come up with jokes like that.
No, whenever you see me do that, honestly, that's usually me complimenting the performer. Yeah. Sometimes that's me telling him I want to give him a spot on All Right By You, the feature show I run.
Yeah.
But usually that's always positive feedback.
Yeah.
If there's anything negative feedback I have to say, I definitely don't do that while I'm on stage.
Yeah, stay the fuck away from here.
But I guess that reminds me of any advice I'd give to any newcomer. Well, granted, I'm like 3 years in, and I'm still pretty green myself. But
so you're talking to me.
What's that?
You're talking to me.
Anybody that's contemplating stepping on for the first time, or have only been on a handful of times, I'd say avoid shock altogether. It's learn how to be funny before you go for shock. I mean, you got guys that push the edges and make social commentary type jokes, and by the time they've gotten famous doing that, they've already learned how to be funny.
Yeah. That makes sense.
In that way, I kind of went about it precisely the wrong way. I think when I started out, I was just all shock value humor.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you can give advice all day, but people ultimately have to learn on their own. I mean,
Yeah.
I've read books and like I've asked questions and chatted with seasoned professionals, but ultimately at the end of the day, like nothing beats getting out there and learning for yourself. I mean, if you enjoy doing comedy, writing jokes, and you have any degree of self-awareness, if you keep getting on stage, you'll get better.
Yeah. I agree. I'm getting better sometimes.
Gaining experience points.
Yeah.
Curtis Rambo leveled up. He is now a level 2 comedian.
Finally, yes.
Roll 1d8 for your hit die. God, that's such a nerdy joke.
Yeah. It's good though. It's a good one. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm excited because like sometimes when I go up there, I'm like, this is not gonna get anything. I get a laugh, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay.
Yeah, and I guess I'll echo what I listened to the podcast where you had Mike Kaplan.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think, oh, that joke's just for me. Nobody will laugh at it.
Yeah.
Try it anyway. Like there's jokes that I've expected. I thought was hilarious, and I heard crickets when I told it on stage. There's in the same set, I'll tell a joke that I thought was a throwaway, but decided to tell it anyway and get the biggest response the whole night from that set.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't if you think it's just for you, try it. If you think nobody will like it, try it.
Okay.
To reiterate what you said, even if you think it's just for you, I think one of the more valuable lessons I've learned for myself is you have to like the material you're doing. It's got to be something that would make you laugh if you saw somebody else doing it. You have to enjoy what you're doing. You know? I've got certain jokes, such as Tiffany Tickles that I've done for so long. I'm just tired of telling them.
Yeah.
And I think that audiences, they're smarter than they're given credit for, and I think people pick up on the fact that he doesn't like telling this joke.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna laugh, Whereas I'll have stupid one-liners that are just like really bad puns. Sometimes I'm like, this makes me giggle because it's cringeworthy.
Yeah.
And I'll go up and tell that, and it gets a better response than I expected because I like doing it.
Yeah, I think that goes for anybody doing live entertainment, like music, comedy, whatever. The ones that are most fun to watch are the ones that are having the most fun on stage.
Yeah.
Like Counting Crows, you don't want to see him do Mr. Jones these days. Mr. Jones and me.
I shouldn't have seen Counting Crows on Knife Night.
I was actually thinking of that the other day. Like, if I ever get on stage and just be like, God damn, I gotta tell this fucking joke. Because the other day I was listening to the Louis Katz, and I was listening to his CD, and I think I heard it in his voice where he's like, and then like he just told the joke anyways. He's like, I did this like a billion times. Like, this is one joke I want to take out, but it gets people every time. Like, I heard that.
Yeah,
I think in his voice.
And when I got started, like that was one thing I was worried about overcoming. Like, how do I tell a joke that I've told dozens of times? Like, it's the first time. How do I sell it each time I go up? But if it's a proven joke and you get a response every time, it's when you get a laugh, it feels like the first time you told it. It's fun again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's kind of where I'm like, because that's honestly, even at open mic, I'm worried to tell the same joke. I'm like, they're not gonna laugh.
You can't be, and I've heard the same from a few comics who just they're like, oh, I don't have any new jokes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it is practice. It's gaining experience points. It's leveling up your jokes. You just have to keep on doing the same stuff for a while.
Yeah, and tweak it, bring something new.
Yeah, and you strike a balance between new material and old material that you're still working on. Old material that you've perfected. There's no perfect percentage balance. I think it really just varies by comic, but
I definitely understand being reluctant to tell the same jokes to what's ultimately the same crowd, because it's mostly comedians and the open mic, and they've all heard your stuff. But at the end of the day, you're trying to craft and perfect a set. 5 minutes at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
So just figure out how to make that each 5 minutes the best 5 minutes, and then once you feel comfortable, move on and try some
New
stuff, and then even when it's old for a little bit, just keep working on making better. That's the widespread advice you'll hear from a majority of experienced comedians.
Okay.
That set that I do on depression, I believe you've seen.
Which is on the Clash of the Comedians comics on my fucking webpage.
Yeah, that would be my homegrown set from June. But prior to doing that set on Homegrown, which is probably one of the best sets I've ever had recorded, I was hashing out that set for 9 months straight. Like, that was the majority of what I was doing for 9 months. And it obviously paid off in a big way.
Yeah. Okay, I was wondering that too. Like, when do you stop, telling that joke? Because I'm like, well, because you see, because people just from the outside, even just me, like, when you see, like, a fucking comedian on Netflix or some show, you see them do it that one time and they come out with another one. It's not the same, so it's like, well, it's been a year. Did they do a whole tour or just do different jokes the whole time? But they just did the same. That's a secret.
Yeah, by the time you've seen it on a special or heard it on a CD, they've told it a bunch of times and perfected it, and they're doing a good job of selling it like they're going off the cuff. It's a lot harder than it looks. A really good professional comedian makes it look effortless. Yeah. And it's intimidating when you have comedic aspirations yourself. Like, wow, this guy just gets on stage and gets funny, and yeah, it's easy to overlook how much effort goes into that.
Yeah. I'm learning now. I'm like, oh, he just did not come up with that way that one time. He probably took a little while.
Even heckler responses, like you've got some in the chamber. You're ready for whatever situation. Like if somebody's drunk and yells something, or if somebody's chiming in and they think they're helping, you've got these preloaded responses that you've had. You've gone over in your head numerous times, and like you've eventually becomes a reflex where you're like, oh, this situation happened. I'm gonna pull this one out of my bag of tricks and.
I've been thinking of them, so that's normal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
One of the ones I really like to use is seriously, dude, is it your first time in public? it works for a lot of different situations, but you definitely want to have preloaded ones, like he said, and but also at the same time, it's an art of being situation specific, and that's why I think doing some improv comedy like kind of builds that skill set.
Yeah, I need to do that a little more. I need to work, but I do, like, even when I'm at work, I'm like, this is in my pouch, because if I get heckled for this joke, this is fucking coming out for that dickhead, Or in most of the situations, it's not even it's just like if I tell this joke and they boo it, they're like, oh, I'm like, I think for like any religious joke that I'll have, I'm just gonna be like, it's okay, I'm a Christian, I can say stuff like that, I've been saved, kind of deal.
Always have something in your back pocket. It's not unprofessional to do that. Like I said, a pro will make it look off the cuff, even though they've said it before, or they've had it, in their arsenal.
That goes not just for heckler responses, but for material too. Like, never go up with just a set in stone set. Like, if you're doing something and it's just not working the entire time, throw in something that's tried and true. I do that oftentimes. If I'm up there and like I'm just completely eating a dick on stage, I'll do something that I know works from like a year ago, and it helps bring everybody back, and perhaps you can get back on the tracks to doing your same stuff. At that point, they're sold on you. You know?
We all have our go-tos. Like, even last time I was on your show, All Right By You, I did my set that I planned to do, and I got some pretty good responses, but there were a couple like stone-faced chicks. I'm like, why can't I win them over? Like, why don't they think I'm funny? So like by the end of the set, I'm like, no, I'm not going out like this. And I pulled out like some of my home run jokes, and I walked off stage. I got them to laugh and smile, and it's 2.5, 3 years in, like I am, it's definitely a skill that I'm learning. You do have to read a crowd. Sometimes you do have to call an audible. It just takes a while. The more you do it, the more jokes you have, the more you get comfortable with your jokes, the more you can recall them quickly. So If you don't know how to read a crowd, 2, 3, a year in, don't feel bad.
Okay.
Sometimes you just don't have enough jokes.
Well, sometimes I haven't done it, but I do have the questions to start a joke. Like, I don't know, like the one time I was like, where are my independent women at? And then, because independent women are not my type at all. True story. So I'm like, where are my codependent women at? And then, like, I go into my rejection jokes, kind of like, y'all are the only ones that'll stay with me, and I will probably sit by you after I sit down. So it's just like questions like I start to think before.
Hook up with me, we'll boost each other's egos.
Yeah. So like I just start to think like of questions. Like I don't do them at the open mic yet. I just throw my jokes out there, but I have like backup questions, I guess, to do at shows to like maybe feel the crowd out, kind of. And I'm trying to do crowd work, I guess, but to me it's kind of like me and you just talking and we're working off each other, kind of. But it's single. You're just up there doing it, and it's kind of. But I'm worried about doing that, really, because then they'll get into fucking heckling. Like, that'll be my whole set. I'm like, shit, that's not what I wanted to do.
If you set a tone early on, they're like, hey, this is like an audience participation set. And then ultimately, you don't have that intention. You're like, wait, I just wanted to get you guys warm, but before I move on to my stuff, that's something I'm still learning myself.
Okay.
Like, I don't do a whole lot of crowd work. I mean, sometimes I haven't had any like hard heckles, like people like shouting "you suck" or whatever, but I have had people chime in, like they'll give their opinion on my joke or whatever. They'll tag it, and then they think they're funny, they think they're helping me, but I'll one up it and move on. So I have so far I've had a pretty non-confrontational way of dealing with hecklers.
Okay, good. I've noticed though a lot of the scene here is just like that crowd over there. They're just pulling them out and they're like talking too much. I think at the last straight to L, like there was these two just diesel cocked fucking dudes with these hot women came in like halfway through the show, sat down, fucking just kept like talked for like two comedians, and it was like you were there, weren't you?
Oh, well, I didn't make it to the last straight to L show.
God, dude, it was like.
You do wonder why somebody would pay for a show than talk through it.
Yeah.
Hashtag comedy rush.
Yeah. They're like, you want to get up here? Do you got something you want to say?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't invite him on stage.
They did though, but he didn't get up. He was like, "No, I'm good. I can do it from back here." And it was like, "Damn, dude!" It was finally they got up and like left because they wouldn't stop and we wouldn't quit being dicks to them. But I was just like, I hope that never happens to me.
It will at some point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
One of the ones that Tom Hand used a lot early on for people who heckled, and being loud and heckling is two different things.
Yeah.
But for people who heckled, Tom would say to them, I'm sure you remember this, hey, this is open mic comedy, right? That means if you really think you're that funny and that novel, you can sign up and come up here and do a set too later.
It is pretty effective at shutting people down.
Yeah.
Tom's been great. I'm sure he's helped, Matt. He's helped me for sure. He's been one of the more encouraging players in the Huntsville comedy scene. He's, thanks to Tom, a lot of us have, even if we have a bad night, he's like, hey, just keep it up. Like he's been one of the more encouraging people in the scene.
I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for him. Like, he was the guy who hosted the first time I did it. He was always very supportive of me whenever I was feeling down about it. Even when he moved away to Tacoma, if I had something I had to ask him advice about and he didn't get on Facebook much, I'd shoot him a message and he'd get back to me pretty quickly.
That's good about the comedy family. We all just help each other kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because our scene is still pretty green or because it's pretty big but it's not huge yet, but for the most part we have a lot of camaraderie and we all want to see each other do well. I mean, so hopefully we can keep that as we keep growing. No animosity. I'm not for animosity at all. A lot of my friends know that if they're arguing and they're wanting to do two separate things, I'm like, no, I'm just not, I just won't hang out. They know.
Fuck you, Curtis.
Yeah.
Hey man.
They just know I won't hang out. So, and I'm like, unless y'all want to do something together, because they're only doing it because they're in an argument or something. That's just I just can't deal with being apart. I can't choose sides. I'm just like, fuck.
Brandon, who are some of your favorite comedians or comedic influences?
Oh, well, I'll say my favorite comedians first before I say influences or people that I think that influence my humor influences. Anyway, my top 3 all-time favorites: George Carlin, Bill Cosby, and Louis C.K. They're all masterful. Carlin has been effective for decades. Well, had been effective for decades. Even still now. I mean, he's got some of the most timeless comedy. Bill Cosby. I think he can reach everybody. He does a broad type of comedy. He's got broad appeal. Like Carlin, timeless. Great storyteller, great insight. And Louis C.K. obviously he's one of the most. He's the comedian's comedian of this generation. He's also changed the way the business of comedy is done too. With releasing his own specials online and stuff, and pricing it himself.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he does shit like that. I forgot.
He kind of set that bar. Jim Gaffigan started doing the same thing. Aziz Ansari. I mean, you can't. Todd Barry. There's so many that are that are kind of mirroring that business model. And he's a great stand-up, great insight. I love his show on FX. It's very creative. I think Neil Brennan has criticized the show Louis as being the Kale of sitcoms. Basically, it's one of those things that's trendy to say that you like, but it's not as funny as a typical either one camera sitcom or a multi-camera sitcom. But I don't know if he's so much going for being funny as much as he is for being artsy. Vignette, I guess is one of the best words to describe it. Regardless, lots of admiration for all 3 of those guys. Influences. I don't know how much of my comedy you've heard.
I haven't actually, not yet. I don't think.
I'm
except that one time.
Oh yeah, that night at Maggie Myers.
Yeah, I heard it that one time.
I've experimented with lots of different formats, ranting, anecdotes, but at heart I'm a one-liner guy.
Yeah.
Whenever I try to be energetic or animated, it's kind of out of character for me and a bit forced.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to do that. So whenever I come back to one-liners, it's where I get it's my favorite jokes to tell. It's where I get my best reaction. So in that vein, if you like Stephen Wright, Mitch Hedberg, Dimitri Martin, Nick Thune.
I was listening to him last night. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Before I went to bed, that's how I went to bed.
If you like those guys, I think you would find something entertaining in me. And even Mike Kaplan, who you had recently. I love cerebral type wordplay, brainy humor. I try to appeal to as many people as I can, but those are the jokes that make me laugh. So those are the types of crowds that I see.
Yeah.
One-line humor, it's a tricky kind of thing, I think. I feel like a lot of comics start out doing one-liners, and then they develop a different comedy style of their own. But there's a small group of comedians who keep with one-liners and do it well, like I feel you do. No problem. But slate it. A lot of comedians, I feel like probably about 30 to 50% of comedians starting out probably do a lot of one-line material, and
it's a great place to start.
Probably about maybe 5 to 10% actually develop that as a skill set. But the 5 to 10% who develop that as a skill set, I really admire their style of comedy. You mentioned Dimitri Martin; he's definitely one of them. I've always been a huge Dimitri fan.
Yeah.
Curtis, what about you? Some of your favorite comics or comedic influences?
I would go back to Bernie Mac, because I remember rewinding that one part just over RP, and then and it's just been recent, like Aziz got me into, because Aziz, and then Mike Kaplan was like a big, because I heard him before he came here, I heard that special, and I would play that over, and I was like, this fucking guy,
the rapid fire, just witty.
God,
he's great.
And then I was like, and that's kind of the start of where it happened. I was like, I could do that maybe, but then like there's that part of you that has like you don't have any confidence in yourself to like come up with things like that. You're like, I can never. And then like there was another one, Mark Maron, but he has this humor that I think it's just I can't do as yet. Like it's just bitter, I guess.
A lifetime of experience.
Yeah,
you can't just come out in your mid-20s and like Mark Maron.
Yeah, the only thing I can come close to that is like I'm about to turn 27, and now I just say them damn kids a lot. Like that's about it. But like him, and them have been the ones that kind of that's kind of got me, I guess, where I'm at. But like there's just there was this guy, there was this event in Florida that I hosted, and I was the entertainment, and I got this comedian, and Bob Perkel, he's like a recovery oriented comedian, but he's been on like Comedy Central and like BET and stuff, and I got to spend the whole weekend with him. We even went parasailing together, like I was in front, and that was weird, but like we got to eat and talk. Slayed me. And we got to eat and talk, and like he was like, and I remember him telling me things like this, but I would just pass it on, like that's not a thing that I could ever do is stand-up comedy. It's like, just find an open mic. I remember him telling me stuff like that. You can. And then I was just like, and then I even messaged him like when I told him I'm about to do it today. He's like, that's great. And I message him to this day, and like, hey, what do you think? Like, me and him kind of stay in like some kind of contact because I like people's like opinion, I guess. Like, and it's not even about, some of them aren't about my jokes. Just like I get really nervous. Like today, I freaked out and I had to message like 2 comedians. Like, I'm really nervous about Friday about what to wear. So like, it's not even my jokes I'm worried about. It's about what I'm wearing.
Bow tie.
Yeah, well, that's what I was worried about. Like, should I do the bow tie? And then you see, like, a dress like this.
Daniel Cooley's in the lineup. I mean, you can't upstage him. He tells himself the best dressed comedian in Huntsville.
I've always wanted to go on stage, like, after him on a feature show and say, I'm Huntsville's second best dressed comic because we can't all afford to shop at Joseph A. Bank.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, them have been very monumental. I mean, there was another one, but I can't think of them offhand. But just like if it wasn't for them, like now looking back, because I guess it's new, but like to me, but like looking back, like I would have probably, because I see their jokes, I'm like, that's funny, and then I do some of mine, I'm like, that's okay, but I could do this. Like it gives me some,
right,
something to go off of.
When you start doing comedy, or even when you think about starting to do comedy, you watch it differently. You watch and listen differently. It's more analytical. But then you got these masterful guys that have been doing it forever, and they make you forget that you're a comedian too.
Yeah,
and that's intimidating. Yeah. Like, wow, I can't get to that level, but it just comes with experience.
Yeah. Oh, Mike, fuck me.
Birbiglia?
Yes. Yeah.
I watched My Girlfriend's Boyfriend like 2 nights ago.
Oh yeah, dude, it's fucking.
Yeah, it's great. Like,
was that scarring for you?
Actually,
I'm sorry.
I don't know what sense you mean that in, but I mean, it was intimidating because like I hadn't been a huge fan of his. I mean, I've always found him funny, but I'm like, I wouldn't pay $30 to see him at Zany's a few months ago. But after watching the special, I'm like, wow, this is a super well written set. Like this is intimidating to watch. Like this guy, so obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I seen he's in a movie, and I don't. It's Sleepwalk with Me.
Yeah,
that was fucking funny.
It's a biopic, autobiographical.
That's funny. I have to watch out because I watch comedians, and I'm like, I guess I want to do their voice, or you know what I mean. Like I have to be careful about that.
That's I think that's typical for anybody. Getting in, like even a couple years in, like. You think of these jokes like, oh, if I told it like David Tell, it would be funny, or if I told it like Norm Macdonald. You got these jokes that you think that would work well in their voice, but I mean, you can get up there and quasi do your impression of them, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, like, don't be too eager to find your own voice. That just kind of comes with experience.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I think, common and understandable to model yourself under somebody you admire or you find funny.
Okay, that makes sense.
Going on 2.5 years in, like sometimes I feel I haven't even found my own voice yet, but one thing I've heard from a lot of the comedians that I've talked to coming off of like Clockwork and Epic and shows like that, the guys who are fairly seasoned veterans. Is a lot of them have always told me. I really found myself around the time I've been doing it 4 years. It's a pretty constant theme I hear.
Yeah.
And I've definitely noticed that, and you know, it makes me look forward to continuing to do this for at least another year and a half. And you know, at the end of the day, when you think about it, whenever I feel down on myself for maybe not having progressed as far as I wanted to at this point, I remember that really the youngest household name comedian in the country right now would be Aziz Ansari, more or less. He's 33, 34.
Bo Burnham's like a freak exception, though.
Yeah. But, you know, anytime I get to doubting myself, it's just like, they'd been doing this anywhere between 6 to 10 years at that point, and they were the people who really blew up quick.
Yeah, they're both like freaks ahead of the learning curve. Like, I mean, it's
and so I have years to go in doing this, and I just look forward to keeping on doing it. And it's a fun ride, man, and it's I think a lot of comedians would agree with me when I say comedy kind of saved my life. You know?
Yeah.
And I'll echo what Matt Tate said. Keep getting on stage and like keep doing what you find funny. Don't that's the best way. Get on stage as much as you can. Keep doing what you find funny. That's the best way to find your own voice. Yeah. Not everything's gonna hit. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the night, like you get off stage, and even if you bomb, like you did something that an overwhelming majority of the population is too intimidated to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad I did this with y'all. My ego is, and then my confidence is kind of here.
That's okay.
It's good because now I'm sitting here because like I have these things in my head, and then like you're shaking your head, you shake your head, like just things relatable that just happen, like feelings that you get like going up there, shit like that. I'm like, because in my mind, I'm like, I'm the only motherfucker here that thinks like that,
Oh, we all thought like that. We still think like that to some degree. It's like a...
It's just a thing.
I don't think it's something that ever goes away entirely.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. You have to have that degree of self-doubt, otherwise you just won't get better.
Yeah. It's a healthy fear, though. It's a good, it's a good, like, let's see.
We have a local comedian here. He hasn't been as active in the scene lately because he recently had a kid, but Jeff Graham, you haven't had the opportunity to see him yet, but...
He's a Huntsville favorite now.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who... is kind of like Brandon said about Aziz and Bo, just kind of ahead of the learning curve. He started 2 weeks before I did, and for the longest time I just tried to I don't know, somewhere in the back of my mind like compete with him, but not like in a bad way. Just he was writing such good new material every week for such a long stretch of time. I was trying to keep pace with him.
Same here. By the first time he got up on stage, I've been doing it 6 or 7 months, and I'm like, after I listened to his first set, I'm like, damn it, this guy knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that on Jeff Graham? Oh no, he's Bloody Mary.
Funny, first time up, knocked out of the park, ahead of the learning curve.
Yes, but anyway, like one thing he's told me before, he's told a lot of other comedians this before, is he gets nervous still every time before he goes on stage, whether it's an open mic or a feature show. But I mean, he really is a great, here in this scene, but. Being nervous doesn't go hand in hand with failing. Often, I think that's the thing that can give you the drive to do even better. In fact,
nervousness is healthy for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Even Baron Vaughn, he was on back in October on Enter the Comedy Dragon, and I don't know if you're familiar with him. He did a half hour on Comedy Central
probably
a year or two ago. He has a podcast called Deep Shit. It's great. It's interesting. But he was at that point a 12 or 13 year veteran, and a road dog. He's been on sitcoms and TV shows, and he's sitting. I was one of the opening acts for him, and he's sitting back in the green room with him. I saw him jotting down the set list, psyching himself up, like jumping up and down, like, okay, I can do this. Like, wow, I've heard this guy. He's monstrously funny. He's really got to pep talk himself.
Yeah.
So but then like he was visibly nervous, but then he got out and did an hour and a half, slayed.
Fucking good, man.
Yeah.
So it shows some normality, like,
Yeah, it was reassuring to see him, like, what's this guy worried about? He's funny. He's a pro.
I think that's fairly constant in people who really, in any entertainment field, who are truly greats. Are you familiar with the band The Pixies?
That sounds familiar as fuck. Probably.
They did the song. They're most well known for the song "Where Is My Mind," which was the closing song in Fight Club.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're sort of indie legends, and they had this documentary come out on IFC probably about 8-9 years ago, and the lead singer is like, prepping himself for a show by standing in the mirror saying, people like you, you're charismatic, you can do this, you can go out there and do a show, there's nothing wrong with you, you'll do all right. Like, he's just reiterating this to himself for a good block of time, and that's how he preps himself for every show.
Okay. I think the thing that, like, because the last set I did, because I kept getting more nervous. Like, I only did 3, but, like, the second one, I was so fucking nervous, like, more than my first time. Like, the third time I did this thing, like, because I read it online, so it has to be true, but it was like some comedians get up there and they breathe in the mic or just take a deep breath. And so right before you called me, I just went, I just kind of breathed out and tried to get some of that nervous bullshit off of me. And that kind of worked. I felt like it worked. I was still nervous, but
For me, my strategy, the first laugh is always the thing. Like, I'm nervous till I get that first laugh.
Yeah.
And then, like, after that, it's a confidence booster. So the quicker I can get that first laugh, the more of my set I can spend, confident in selling my jokes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that it's that way with a lot of people.
Yeah.
The longer you go without that first laugh, it's tough.
Yeah.
I got it really fast at All Right By You this last week. And
Yeah, dude, you killed. You slayed it.
Thank you. I think that's like part of what allowed my set to go so well.
Yeah.
But you can't always expect that. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there are, not everything, I mean, you can't always win everybody. Like, the week before Bonnaroo in Manchester, Tennessee, a couple summers ago, there was a show called Music Tree Festival. It's basically, it's the week leading up to Bonnaroo, and it's featuring, a bunch of regional, a bunch of locals. They decided to do comedy for the first year, the year that I did it. Cool. And the venue that was hosting comedy clearly wasn't ready for comedy. It's a very honky-tonk place. Like, there was a mechanical bull that I had to compete with, like some electronic slots. There was a birthday party with like pictures of Jack and Coke. I mean, like, there were more Confederate flags in the place than there were teeth.
I remember you posting about this on Facebook. Yeah,
yeah, like, it was a nightmare. I mean, it's like,
and then the next week it's just hippies.
Yeah. But I was supposed to do 20 minutes. I wrapped it up in 6.
Really?
Yeah, like, I just, like,
you could,
there's no way, nobody's paying attention. There's no winning these people. So, I mean, like, you just gotta take your lumps and learn what you can from it. Like, at that point, I definitely didn't know how to win a crowd.
Yeah.
And who knows whatever further efforts I could have done with more experience probably would have been futile. I don't know, but it's even when it's not fun, it's still fun, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get it. Damn. Fuck, that would have freaked me out. I'd been like, I'm never doing this again.
No, it's...
God, that's like every time doing a set at the end zone.
I haven't done the end zone.
Because I
know it's predominantly a music open mic.
Yeah. It's on University. It's right off the Parkway, so it's a stone's throw from Maggie's. Every once in a while when I get wrapped up with the Maggie's open mic, I'll skip down there because their open mic goes to like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And just like invade the predominantly music open mic with a comedy set. And usually everybody's talking in the audience. Like, you have to make a concerted effort to win people over. It's working a different skill set. It's a completely different beast. But I feel like working those sorts of rooms is a healthy thing to do for comedians. You have to switch it up and switch up your routine, because you're never going to get the same room continuously. You've got to work in front of different kinds of crowds, and some are responsive, some are loud, Some are quiet and don't laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the more experience you can get, really, just the better.
Yeah. Okay.
So go to every open mic you can. That's the credo I kind of lived
Get on
with
stage,
for
every
2 years. But
That's what everybody keeps telling me, man.
every opportunity you get to hold a mic, do it. Like, it's not always going to be fun if you're dreading it. Do it anyway. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I get a laugh. Oh well.
Yeah.
I actually got jumped after my second time doing stand-up.
What?
That's never happened to me.
At the creek, this guy waited for me outside after I shut down his heckler wife, and I decided to stay in the bar and drink till last call, and he met me in the parking lot and jumped me.
Hey man, I got a 30-06 in the trunk.
No, but I was shit-faced at that point, and I'm a little guy. You guys can't see me right now, but for those of you who know me, I'm a little guy.
Yeah.
So I did what any logical little guy does, which was throw my shoes at him and run away barefoot as fast as I could. And I jumped a fence to get away from this guy and cut open my leg. I actually still have a scar on my calf from that because my leg scraped the top of the fence. And this fence I jumped led, and you can't make this shit up, directly into a rehab center when I was shit-faced drunk at 2 in the morning.
Matt Tate, he's not big, but he's wiry.
But yeah, that was my second time doing stand-up, and for some reason I decided to keep with it after that. I'm glad I did, though.
Yeah, it's not every experience is going to be great. You know, like sometimes though, you know, like I said, you got to take your lumps, but other times you snag the audience. You know, even for a 10-minute set, like you get them, and then ultimately you got their attention, and you're funny for a whole set, and kind of play the crowd like an instrument, and then that can carry you for days. This is a reason to keep you going, even if you've bombed several times. I mean, I've never done any illegal drugs, but I can't imagine anything being better than the feeling of coming off a good set.
Yeah, I've done a lot of illegal drugs, but I can't imagine anything feeling better than coming off of a good set.
Well, there you go. Yeah, stand-up comedy is the ultimate anti-drug.
Coming straight from the expert.
Although, like, okay, I haven't done any illegal drugs, but I have been prescribed hydrocodone for a back injury, and I never abused it. I took it 3 times a day like I was prescribed, but man, did I look forward to each dose. Like, just a consistent state of glad, happy, excited for no good reason. Butterflies. Don't do drugs, kids. That's, yeah.
Or if you do, make sure you have a back injury.
Yeah.
Or just do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, stand-up comedy, like I said, the ultimate anti-drug. It's, there's no feeling like it in the world. It's worth every time you bomb, every time you're nervous, every time you get heckled. The occasions where you do snag the audience and get a consistent set of laughs, it makes it totally worth it.
Yeah.
And our host is back from the pisser.
Yeah, I didn't even want to flush because I didn't want the people to hear it. Like,
but now everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows I fucking took a piss.
Everybody knows.
Well, it's been an hour and 42. Y'all want to call it?
It's your show.
Okay, let's call it. Let's fucking call this I don't know what we do for goodbyes. We just, everybody goes around the table and just says goodbye. I usually tell them to go fuck themselves. Thank you for listening.
I'll do an outro. Once again, Brandon Imes, co-producer of Homegrown Comedy, co-producer of Comedy Mayhem. Homegrown Comedy at the Flying Monkey Theater at Low Mill once a month, although we don't have any more dates for 2014. Check our page out on Facebook. Stay tuned. Comedy Mayhem, the next event coming up is the Straight to Ale Brewery tomorrow, October 10th.
Well,
but we won't, okay, by the time you hear this next Thursday, it'll be too late, but you'll be sad that you missed it.
Yeah.
Monday, Enter the Comedy Dragon, which also has a Facebook page, is it the sports page, run by another local comedian, Scott Eason. Dave Stone will be the headliner. He's bringing special guest Caleb Sinan, a very funny Atlanta comedian who's been on Huntsville stages numerous times. Patrick Cunningham and I, another local comedian, will be opening for him. And that's the bulk of the events that I'm on. Then Epic Comedy Hour, another monthly show, one of the biggest independently run shows in the Southeast, will be on October 24th, I believe, the final Friday, or the next to last Friday of the month. And yeah, I mean, I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard. I hope you come out and see me do what I do, and a bunch of us here in Huntsville, we love to entertain, and we'd love to see you out there. Hope to get some new fans, and thank you for listening.
And I'm Matthew Tate again. I am the host of TGIM Comedy Open Mic every Monday at Maggie Myers Irish Pub. Starts at 8 o'clock. I am also the producer of All Right Bayou Comedy every first, third, and fifth Friday at Tim's Cajun Kitchen. That's $5 to get in the door. It's a feature show. Come on out and check that out. I've got a few notable dates coming up that I'd like to plug. The 31st, we're going to do a Halloween comedy bash at All Right Bayou Comedy at Tim's Cajun Kitchen. That one's actually going to be free to get in. It's going to be open mic, costumes encouraged. And then, as I mentioned earlier, on the 17th of November, we're going to have Carlos Valencia down here from New York City headlining at Maggie Myers Irish Pub. Open mic will follow the show. And there's plenty of more Huntsville comedy to check out. We have open mics Monday through Thursday of every week. Monday, the one I run. Tuesday, Stephen Claybrooks runs the Partners Comedy Gangbang out of Partners Bar and Grill. Wednesday, Coppertopia Comedy Open Mic hosted by Mark Bentley. And Thursday, we've got Bootleg Comedy at Amendment 21 kicking off tonight, actually. For all your Huntsville comedy needs, check out hsvcomedy.com and facebook.com/Huntsville Needs Comedy.
A little asterisk about Partners. If you don't know, it's a gay bar. It's a very fun place to go if you have a phobia against like bikers and bros and punks, and it's like I said, it's a gay bar. But if you didn't know that going in, you'd never suspect.
Yeah. Even though I've never been there, I'm agree. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Any other plugs? Trying to think.
Rocket Wrangler.
Yeah.
hsvcomedy.com and Huntsville Comedy on Facebook. That's the best starting points to find out just about everything there is to know about comedy in Huntsville.
Well, that's out. That's out. We'll see you next week or the week after, or maybe I'll die after this podcast and you'll never hear from me again. I'm out.
I slayed him.
But baby, if you want, he'll go down low. Doing a podcast on a random Thursday night. Girl, this blow, he's gonna make you feel alright. I know the manager, he knows what's going down. He'll make you laugh, but he damn sure is not a clown. I know the manager, and this man, he's got clout. He's gonna make you scream, you know he'll make you shout. He's gonna make you scream, he'll make you shout. I know the manager, yeah.